Johnson, and this is Focus on Liberia. Hit it! From Cape Mount to Cape Palmer, mountain back to Atlantic Ocean, over me hills to Pocondre, to educate, elevate, and promote. Home affairs, hey, in diaspora, current affairs, reliable information, history, talking about culture, politics, education, entertainment, business, sports, advertisement, articulation. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. From Monday to Sunday.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Jah.
And I am Anson Nsie, and a pleasant welcome to Focus on Liberia. We are about educating, elevating, and promoting all things Liberia. And in today's edition of Focus on Liberia Live, we have with us the Liberian Renaissance plan that has a plan to kick off things that will transform Liberia. In studio, I have two representatives, and they are here to discuss the plan they have, a Renaissance plan for the nation Liberia and its people. Seated and ready to participate in the discussion, talking about the Liberian Renaissance plan, is Putu. Putu, welcome to Focus on Liberia. It's good to have you.
How you doing there, Brother Anthony? Happy to be here. Thank you all at Focus Liberia for having us here. Shout out to the audience too.
All right, I understand Putu is an artist and he is the host of the Liberian Renaissance plan. It's good to have you, brother. Also with us here is another representative of the Liberian Renaissance plan. His name is Ken. It's good to have you. He's an engineer and an inventor. How you doing, sir?
I'm pretty good. Greetings to you and everyone out there watching.
All right, folks, if you don't know anything about the Liberian Renaissance plan, the Liberian Renaissance plan is being put forth by a network of individuals, groups, and businesses to work who seek to participate in Liberia's growth and development by tapping into their skills and creativity in art, the sciences, and technologies. Within the network are experts in renewable energy, 3D printing, vertical farming, blockchain, technology, music, entertainment, and much more. They believe in the promise of Liberia developing into a modern nation for not only Africa, but the world by working together with like minds and using their skills and creativity to put Liberia on top. So this is why we are here again. Putu, let's get started here. I just gave a brief summary of what you are all about, and you are talking about groups, individuals, and businesses. So, what are the individuals that are participating in the entire Renaissance plan for Liberia?
Indeed, thank you so much, Brother Anthony. For those of you who don't know me, some of you may have known me out there as an activist revolutionary. I'm one of the co-founders of the Liberia Heals Initiative, which has been one of the strongest grassroots organizations when it comes to healing, reconciliation, and promoting peace in the nation for almost 15 years. We've been doing that in the diaspora and on the ground. So Liberia Hughes was kind of, was founded in 2012, but at the same time, we observed that there was also a renaissance occurring. There was a renaissance. A renaissance, in generally speaking, is a time period, is a word used to describe the time a group of people go through a very traumatic experience. They start having new ideas, new visions, and new solutions to their problems. So the Liberian Renaissance plan is actually a plan of action to put forth some of these solutions and these ideas to the general public and invite all those who see value in it to come together and be a part of it. Now, as it relates to this specific Liberia Hughes plan, Liberia Hughes, of course, we have businesses like the 3D, etc., which you will know more about that. We have Akabulium that deals with the blockchain. And, there are others who are in the background who, as time goes along, progresses, you see different faces and different people. And even if you see yourself as part of this renaissance and have a similar objective, we all unite and come together to redevelop Liberia. So we are just initiating it and putting it forth to the public and letting you all know that we are on course. The Liberian Renaissance is here and the plan is in action.
Thank you. Ken, you are with this group, the Liberian Renaissance Plan. Putu has just given a little overview of what it's all about. Anything you wish to add? What motivated you to be being part of this group?
Understanding the change that needs to happen in order to kind of tip the scales. Right now, the continent and the diaspora, we're operating at a deficit. We are consumers and not producers. And the world around us continues to grow, and we don't get a chance to grow exponentially as they do. And so I saw an area where I could bring my gifts and talents to be able to bring solutions to unravel that and to put us on the top side of things.
Thank you. And you are participating as an individual with your skills as an engineer and inventor. Is that correct, sir?
That is correct. As well as my company that I have, 3D, etc., which is centered around prototyping, 3D printing and design, and some other initiatives.
So talking about your business, how do you intend to use your business to bring about this renaissance in Liberia?
There's a couple ways that we can fuel it. First is empowering the people on the continent to bring technology, to bring knowledge, to be able to educate others. So we all can have the ability to become more self-sustainable and to be able to control more of our dollars economically and to build more from within.
Thank you. And Putu, I just want you to make my viewers to understand. So this is like a project, and it is a renaissance plan. You have individuals who are coming with their skills and expertise. You have, businesses as well as groups. So how are you going to put all this together to actually effect the renaissance? How is it going to be done?
It's a great question there. So one of the first things that we are doing is creating awareness. Okay, a renaissance is something that kind of just happens. you know, and a lot of times people talk about it. People might be familiar with the Harlem Renaissance, or you know, or the European Renaissance, and all those Renaissance. When you look at it, they had people, individual, intellectuals, groups, organizations that, you know, gave their contributions. So when we look at Liberia in general, Liberians in general, you know, we just came out of the elections, and thank God it was peaceful, which it was very important for us to continue focusing on the Liberian hues aspect of it. Because otherwise, if we don't have peace, we can't really, you know, feel the Renaissance in that way. But thankfully, it was peaceful. And what we are intending to do now is try to enlighten our Liberian, you know, brothers and sisters to know that we have to go a little bit beyond the politics, you know, when we talk about making change. You know, I think that one of the areas that we have fallen short over the time is we kind of think about things in a one-track way. And we, at this time now, we need to be a little bit more creative. And this Renaissance, and knowing that there's a Renaissance going on and recognizing your place in the Renaissance, you can, you know, give your contribution. So we are embarking on a tour. You know, we're going to go, you know, we're starting off in Atlanta on December 17th, but we're going to tap into the Liberian diaspora in America in particular, you know, targeting the key cities and states where there are plenty Liberians who have also mixed along with other Africans and other people, so that we can do presentations and events and quantize the minds of the people so that they can understand and know that this thing is real and this thing is possible. And as we do that, we also got our people on the ground too, who are simultaneously spreading the word on the level and the way that is necessary for the people on the ground to understand what's going on at the same time.
So you'll be organizing, I don't want to call it meetings in states and cities in the U.S. where Liberians are concentrated, so that the whole idea of Renaissance, meaning people with skills, even business individuals and groups who want to see Liberia transform, can come together. So as they come to attend the event, what are you looking for from them that will be taken to Liberia? Because at the end of the day, what I'm getting is that you're looking for these talents and skills and in business individuals so that you can take that knowledge, those skills to Liberia. So what will you be expecting from them? What will be your expectation?
Definitely, great. We are coming to look for people who are coming first with a good spirit, you know, with an open mind and thinking big, okay, who are able to see Liberia moving forward a bit past politics, okay? We are looking for people who want to learn, who are interested in some of the skills and the technologies that we will be showcasing, whether it's solar power, hydro, blockchain, 3D printing machinery, additive machinery. So we are looking for people to see themselves within the Renaissance plan, to see themselves within the Renaissance and bring ideas, connections, networks. Maybe somebody might come to an event and they might see a solar power setup or a hydro or power setup, or and they say, hey, I got some land, or I have a house in so and so place in Liberia, in Nimba in Bond County. How can we help build? How can we build a setup in my area that I have over there? Oh, my auntie or my cousin stay in so and so place. When are you guys going to Liberia? Who's the contact person on the ground in Liberia, so we can see about how we can be a part and embark on a project there. We will be going to Liberia next year. We're planning that. But we also have people on the ground right now who are spreading the word and letting people know that this thing is going on, so that they can be able to receive it in the proper way.
Thank you. And Ken, let me come to you. And I'm happy that you have this business, and so you have the expertise, and I'm sure you are working with other individuals who might be your staff. What you have as a business and the services you provide, those things are needed in Liberia. Give me a picture of you learning in Liberia with your skills and your business. Who are the individuals you'll be looking for to work with?
It will be kind of the same as to what Kudu is referring to. To be able to empower anyone, especially on the continent. If, for example, we're already incorporated, we already have a business legally to be able to operate in Liberia right now under the branding of 3D, etc. So now we look to see how can we employ people, how can we educate and employ people to be able to start practicing these same technologies that we practice around the world, but now to be able to do the same thing on the continent and push Liberia into its own industrial revolution per se, right? And so we, like he says, we want to educate, we want to show people, hey, this is how we can begin using 3D printing. Also, you know, we can 3D print homes, we can 3D print buildings, to be able to use those technologies in Liberia, how to start integrating blockchain technologies in Liberia, and how common people can benefit from all those things.
And Ken, so someone in Liberia listening now, or maybe somewhere else, who has no idea what is 3D printing, what is it?
So to keep things simple, 3D printing is just a means by which we can make or manufacture things, right? So traditionally, people come up with an idea. Let's just say you have a coffee table you want to make. Traditionally, people have made coffee tables out of wood or other textiles, maybe even steel, right? We can take ideas, we can take concepts that we draw, that we design in 3D on the computer, and we can spit that idea into a machine that will literally create it right before your eyes, right? I can give you an example. For anyone that has followed, let's just say they follow Star Wars, right? I'm a science fiction fan, right? And so if you're familiar with this type of thing, I think it might be a little too washed out, but this is a helmet, right? This helmet was produced on a 3D printer. So we took this idea and this concept of a helmet. You put the design inside of a 3D printer, like I have here in the back, and that machine will actually create a tangible item that we can hold in our hands. And we're not limited to just this. We can literally create anything that we can dream of. And so we're only limited by our own creativity. Imagine us coming up with our own special tools that we need on the continent. Imagine us coming up with our own dishes, roof tiles, pavers, everything. There's no limit to what we can create with this technology.
Wow, that is amazing, you know, because if you look at some of the things that Africans are producing or they are making now in Liberia that we use locally, any of those things can be printed in 3D.
Absolutely.
And so printing it in 3D, what difference does it make in terms of quality? Explain to us.
So we all understand when we make things by hand, as creative as we are as a people, there's sometimes human error involved in that. And so with the 3D printing, it allows us to introduce consistent repeatability, detail to the exact spec. So we can always expect a perfect product, right? And we can continue to reproduce that same perfect product over and over again. So it allows us to, number one, we can streamline our processes. We can cut down on the time it takes to build these products, but we can also minimize waste. Imagine if we built a home traditionally out of wood, there's a lot of wood that's left over that's wasted, right?
Right.
When you 3D print with materials, you use only what you need and no more. And so it eliminates a lot of byproduct and waste. So there's so many benefits to what we can do with 3D printing.
So the entire goal, now they're talking about 3D printing, but you know, all the skills and knowledge that you will be taking there is to, you know, transform those skills, knowledge to individuals in Liberia to create job opportunity for them, either through businesses. Is that the goal here? And if that is the goal, talk to me also about you meeting a young man in the street who was fascinated by science fiction, all right? And you tell them about the Liberian Renaissance project, and that person said, yes, I have time, I want to participate. What is the goal for that Liberian citizen in terms of employment, in terms of giving them skill and maybe becoming an entrepreneur at the end of the day?
So there's a few things that we can do. We can educate, and it's not always about educating for the purpose of working for us.
Right.
We want to educate people to liberate themselves, period. Right. We want to be able to empower people to be able to have more options, to have better skills and capabilities. And so we can educate people to even show them how to practice these things on even for themselves. Let's just say we're talking about renewable energy. Everyone understands about renewable energy, but they don't understand how to put it together, how to build the systems, how to design the systems, especially for them to work well. And so imagine now we can educate the public to say, hey, you too can have access to solar, and this is how simple it is for you to integrate it into your own home and not have to rely so much on these other municipalities. So that's the first step. And then another direction is absolutely working, the job industry, what we can create. Imagine how many more plants or how many more businesses we can create that stem from now more people utilizing these tools that we teach.
Putu, let's talk about music. Your area, being an artist, that's your area of expertise. I know you are an advocate and you focus also on peace building and all that, but I focus on music. Music makes a lot of money. There are a lot of young Liberians who are into this area. They have challenges. There are some things they can't do. So using the Liberian Renaissance project in their area, how do you intend to engage young people to make them independent so that they can be able to make music and make money?
That's an excellent question. Excellent question. Well, the reality is that yes, Liberian music industry has been challenged for a very long time in terms of getting that world notoriety and being monetized. That's the key thing there. How you make a real living off of it. But the reality is that when if you are aware, if you study the music industry, even the American music industry and other music industry, it has been struggling and challenging over the last 10, 20 years as well, due to what is called the digital age, in the internet age. There was a shift in the music industry in the late 90s, early 2000s that transformed the whole business model, of how artists and everybody in the music industry get paid, and those are some of the things that when we talk about the Liberian music industry, we don't often, we don't reference it. So it just looks like, we just don't have anything together. But the reality is what ended up happening is artists started finding out that you can't only just rely on your music itself to sustain you. They started tapping into businesses and other endeavors in order to, make money. And what they did was they used their music to just kind of to build their brand and to gain visibility, and then partner up with businesses and other initiatives that they could make money and also make an impact. So with this Renaissance, what we want to do is to provide like a platform, or opportunity rather, for Liberian artists to identify with this Renaissance and be exposed to all the other things that are going on beyond just the music itself. And then what ends up happening is the partnerships end up happening, because when you see the products and the things that are being made in the tech world, the products, right? They need to market them. They need promoters. They need what is endorsed. They need artists to endorse them and to promote them. So what will end up happening is that they could start creating new streams of revenue simply by just partnering up with other people, businesses, and groups within the Renaissance, and they can still do their music, which is important, and that will be selling their brand and exposing them. But that's just a gateway to, to other things. So that's what we want to do. We want to open the artist's mind to let them know that you got to think business. You got to go beyond just the music.
You got to go beyond the music. You got to go business. But let's talk quality. Let's talk about maintaining the originality, putting the Liberian culture on it so that when one listen, they will say, whoa, this is Liberian music. Is there a fine line in maintaining the culture, the Liberianness of this, and at the same time giving it the global flavor so that irrespective of whatever culture one comes from, there's like, this is music to my soul.
That's an excellent point you bring there. That one of my area that, when it comes to the music, the culture, the history. Liberian artists need to really, really, really be aware of Liberia's history. Okay. Going back to the origins of the nation, to when the Liberia was a colony and before then. And when you do that, you understand what's really going on, right? So we have Liberia is a diverse culture when you look at its origin. You have the influences of the people who left the Americas. We call them the Americo-Liberians. And then also the Caribbean and other people over time, right? Who went into to what became Liberia. You have the recapture the Congo people, okay? You had the indigenous people, right? All of those different groups of people had their own root cultures, okay? Independent from its counterparts. But what happened with Liberia is then now you have a melting pot. So now when you go to the traditional side, that like that Buema sound, that's more on the indigenous side, right? If your root is on that side. The ones that came from the Americas, they bring those Negro spirituals, the sea breeze, all of that, Then in the Caribbean, you bring that Caribbean reggae flow, right? And then not only that, when we look at Liberia in the last 20, 30, 40 years, Liberians are spread all across the world, okay? So you have Liberians or people who are born in exile, okay? Or first and second generation Liberian who they may not speak a colloqua or may not tap in a colloqua, but they know their root is Liberia. So when we express ourselves to the world, okay, you will have people who just rap. They will sound like they just purely Americanized because their parents them came from the war in America and they grew up in America, but they're Liberian, but they just rap. But are they not Liberian? Okay. Yeah. But they got to know their culture, right? Then you got some who stayed in Liberia. All they know is the colloqua, right? You got people who went other places, Nigeria. So they talk with the pidgin. And when we get caught up in saying, oh, it's this, it's not this, and that, you take away from the experience, because part of the Liberian experience is understanding that what happened to Liberia caused us to spread all over and adapt and bring other things to us. So when we go out there in the Liberian Renaissance, we can be able to explain to the people, yeah, I'm Liberian, or maybe I talk this way, but I'm Liberian. Maybe I talk in reggae, I do reggae music, but I'm Liberian. Okay, but you got to know your history. The people and the Liberian people have to understand what happened in Liberia and why we are so diverse at this time. And I think that's where we struggle. We don't understand why we're so different. But the reality is due to our vast experiences.
Thank you so much. And folks in cyberspace, if you are just joining us, of course, this is Focus on Liberia, where we educate, we elevate, and promote all things Liberia. Talking about promoting Liberia, we have with us the Liberian Renaissance Plan. The Liberian Renaissance Plan is being put forth by a network of individuals, groups, and businesses who seek to participate in Liberia's growth and development by tapping into their skills and creativity in art, science, and technology. And this is the way you build a country. And King, that makes me now to come to you. You are a business owner. You have skills and that you want to transfer to Liberia. That is one thing, having a skill, but then that skill can be turned into a business. Maybe a knowledge you want to turn into a business. So besides transferring the skills that would become employable, are you going to have these individuals, once they have acquired those skills, to become business owners?
Absolutely, because leaders create and sharpen other leaders. And so what we look to do is establish a foundation, have a bigger presence, absolutely have a bigger presence. And once we have a bigger presence on the continent, then we can do even more alongside of our brothers and sisters there.
That is very much Interesting. So we're talking renewable energy, we're talking 3D printing, we're talking about vertical farming, we're talking about music. Why are other things? Because I don't know, King, have you guys identified? Sometimes we think we want to do all, right? Have you guys identified what are the skills that are needed in Liberia now for Liberia to experience this renaissance? Why are those skills? Because you must start from somewhere. It's like you're climbing on top of the mountain. When you get to the mountain, then you have succeeded. But the first step is key to getting there. So what are the skills you guys have identified? Have you identified some skills that are needed right now to get us started?
As far as what's needed technologically, I look at the foundation. I look at the infrastructure, right? Because that's the first area that we're usually crippled, and that's anywhere for any people in the diaspora. We don't own our own municipalities. We don't own our own energy companies. We don't own our own water companies. We don't own our own gas companies. And so the first part is to be able to strengthen and solidify the infrastructure. So that means bringing in solutions that can help people have a solid energy grid, that can have consistent clean water. Those are the first areas from a infrastructure standpoint that I look to be able to make a change in.
And so what you just mentioned there, those are the challenges that you will have to encounter as you get on the ground. Those things I stayed there. Electricity in Liberia is not common as we find it here in the US and other developed countries. You talk about water, that is key. What else? Internet. Internet is a big deal now, especially for the young population of the world. And it's not only for them, as internet, I think, rules the world right now. So these are the challenges. Does the Liberian Renaissance intend to bridge that gap or to minimize those challenges as you go on, carry on the Renaissance in Liberia?
Absolutely. In any of these areas that we speak on, we look to close that gap and bring it to null. We look to be able to empower people. So to the point now where we are masters of these domains, no different than any other country is or any other culture is.
Thank you. And Putu, you have to relate to the government directly or indirectly as you get on the ground. So when we talk about the things that you need to operate on the ground, have you started anything in that direction?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, one of the most important things is having a legal status in the country. And as Ken shared, we already have 3D Etc., which is one of the businesses that's affiliated with the Liberian Renaissance. 3D Etc. is established as a business that will deal with 3D printing, vertical farming, solar power, renewable energy, a number of all of these different technologies that we're talking about. So that's one of the most important things there, to be able to relate to the government. And one of the things too we did was observing the election process, making sure it was peaceful. Liberia Youth, for those of you who know of the work that we've been doing over the years, and we paid attention to one of the key areas of of importance when it comes to the incoming administration. As a former minister of agriculture, President-elect Boyka, we believe that he has an interest in agriculture. And within this Renaissance plan that we are proposing, there is this thing called vertical farming. It's a technique that can really revolutionize the whole the way that we look at agriculture. And we are putting these things out there, buzzwords out there, so that there are people who are watching now, and people who we are closely connected to, who can reach it to the president-elect, so that we can see about how we can partner or work together to move it forward. However, we still, whatever the case may be, we know that we have to work grassroots with the people. We see the private sector and working directly with the people as a great way, to push this thing further from a community level, community to community, each one teach one. And sure, we look forward to support from the incoming government as well.
Folks, this is Focus on Liberia in conversation with the Liberian Renaissance Plan. They are kicking off their operation, and the goal here is to get to Liberia, to transform Liberia, for Liberia to experience a renaissance. They are looking in the area of technology, arts, and just about any field necessary to create a renaissance in Liberia, to create employable skills, to turn individuals into entrepreneurs so that Liberia can become a model country, they say. So the 3D, not 3D, the vertical farming, you said, it is something like magical. Give us a little taste of it. How does it work when you look at the traditional farming? How is it different from the traditional farming that most of us know?
Yeah, so Pat, okay, Brother Ken. Mm-hmm.
So vertical farming, so with any farming, obviously we need soil, because the soil is where the nutrients lie for plants to grow. The only problem with that is certain lands, the soil may not be perfect for growing, or there's limited space, a limited footprint. And so what vertical farming allows you to do is to actually take plants along these towers, per se, like whatever you decide to make them out of. Traditionally, they could be, let's just say you have PVC pipes, and you can strategically have these pods where plants will grow from these pods. And what you do is, like a fish tank, you allow a system internally inside the pipe to flow nutrients from water solutions across the roots of the plants. So this is the delivery system of how you can grow plants. And so now imagine creating farms in contained environments, like 20 and 40-foot shipping containers, where you have these vertical pods or these vertical towers that are growing food inside of those. And you can create these perfect scenarios year round to be able to grow and produce more healthy food.
Wow. So the goal there is to produce more, but will those products maintain their original taste? Will fertilizer and all that be used to enhance the
no additives, everything natural. We don't introduce anything that's harmful. It actually eliminates a lot of the negative sides to what you experience with farming, especially if you have a lot of heat that affects your crops, or even insects that affect your crops. So it allows us to just filter a lot of those negative sides out, and then enhance a lot of the positives. So it's just clean, pure nutrients that we can inject into the water that allow it to feed the roots of the plants and the crops.
How many groups and businesses have registered so far with you to participate in this plan? Any of you?
Well, as I said, right now, on the forefront of it, Liberia Hughes and 3D, etc., and Acabolium, which is a blockchain. For those of you all who are not aware of what a blockchain is, it's a technology that creates transparency, and those are things there when it comes to creating new systems that can fight corruption and other things like that. It's actually the technology behind cryptocurrency. So that's Acabolium. We are connecting with the new Black Wall Street folks in the Atlanta, Georgia area. And there are some other folks that they are learning more. They are interested, because we just started to really put this out there, even though we've been working on this behind the scenes for years. But it wasn't quite time for people to get it. You see, the politics of the country kind of made it difficult for people to see and receive something like this. But now that some of the the stuff with the elections has subsided, we are striking now, to put ourselves out there and as we go along, there will be more names, more individuals, organizations who identified and with it. So we, as time goes along, more people will see exactly what it is. But for right now, this is we're the ones putting this on the forefront.
So tourism comes to mind. The Caribbean is raising, I don't want to say maybe billions in revenue because of tourism. Liberia is unique. I can argue Liberia is more unique than any other African country. The diversity, the history, and our connection to our brothers and sisters here in the U.S. And just about anywhere you can beat it, right? And if you look at the landscape of our country, we have waters everywhere. The Atlantic Ocean is right there. We have rivers, we have lakes. I mean, you name it. If you go to Maryland, you see history. People coming from America to settle there. They created this state of Maryland in Liberia, and then it will become the larger Liberia. You go to Sano, you talk about Mississippi. From here in the United States. People want to see those things. I can go on and on. So my simple question here is, tourism is one of your targets, right? To create a renaissance and to drive people to Liberia to turn that country into a model state, you said.
Definitely. Tourism is definitely part of this whole endeavor. And, we have to be the author of our own narrative as time that Liberians do that. A lot of time Liberia's story has been told by other folks, and it's told in a way that doesn't really make us look good, our image out there. And then sometimes even Liberians regurgitate those things there. I've talked to people who are not Liberian or who said that they talk to other Liberians and they talk about the negative aspects of Liberia. They're so negative about, and it's unfortunate. We just put all of our negativity out there, and if we want people to see the best in us, we gotta be very intentional in the way that we promote ourselves. So imagine tourism. Imagine, we have the keke, we have the keke riders and the motorbike riders, and in the taxi riders. So those are people who could be like tour guides. You look at Barbados, they had something there where they had motorcyclists too. They went through a certain training, learning the history of the area. They already knew a lot of it, but they kind of maybe formalized it so that when the tourists go over there and they are riding these on a keke or on a bike, these guys are like tour guides to them. They give them their helmets, they give them uniform, and give them that sense of dignity. But a lot of time when you look at the motorcyclists in Liberia, the way we look at them sometimes as society, they're low motorcyclists, the other, it's like, is this that kind of negative attitude? So we look to see how we can transform that. And then in addition with these 3D printing, we're building up the infrastructure, because when we invite the people to come see the nation, we want good roads, we want good infrastructure, we want good products, we want to have something there. So that's where it comes in. So there's so many different moving parts to it. So we look to do that, to build up the beach resorts. You know what I mean? We look forward to building up bridges, museums, places where it's going to excite people who want to know about this strange country that was created because America was scared of the slave revolts in early America. And you have places like Virginia, Maryland, and people, Marcus Garvey over there's so much history that people want to know about Liberia and want to see. Got Sierra Leone as well. So tourism is definitely part of this whole plan.
Thank you. And King, there's Pan-African narrative that may be a kind of tool for use in achieving this. You think it's something to tap into? If you look at Africans here in the U.S., Africans in Africa, we are the same people. So if Liberia is to be turned into the model state, it can't be only in Africans in Liberia, Liberians in Liberia doing it. Maybe you got to be all Africans around the world saying that, oh, this is a project, we have to identify with it. For when it succeed, the black race succeed, the black race, has advanced. Talk to me about that.
Absolutely. Liberia can become a gateway, right? It's a reintroduction for anyone of diaspora to come, especially Black Americans, to come and to experience more of Africa and to experience more of the culture and their roots. And so implementing a lot of these things gives them the amenities that are close to home. That's what makes it more attractive for more people to visit. And that's what the technological side of it can bring. To make more people, to welcome more people and make them more comfortable to come in and feel like home, because that's what it's all about. When you have strangers that have never been to a new place, but they have a desire to go, imagine how much more comfortable they can be and how much longer they can stay and the impact it can make when it feels like home. And these things can then now be replicated, because it's not just for Liberia. These are things that can be done for all of us, right? These things can be done for all people of color. And so that's the opportunities that we have here as well.
And certainly, because if the Black child in America who is from Liberia or any other African country must go to Liberia and see reason to go. Those of us who are adults, parents, should be willing to go, and not only just go, but initiating activities and ventures down there that will make them to go. They have to see the curiosity. They got to see how we take pride in the nation Liberia, the continent Africa, which is their root. We have to build the results. We have to find maybe those who have the money to build the results. Then that is how we made Liberia to experience that Renaissance, for the African child to want to go there. I don't think they don't want to go there. Maybe it's the negativity that they hear that put to talk about. So the Pan-African narrative would dispel that negativity, and then they would take pride in what is Africa. I think that is a good thing. Gentlemen, I think the discussion has been so succinct because of time. Let's do one thing here before we close. So, Putu, again, I want you to restate the kickoff plan. All right. And then again, we'll talk about when you get in Liberia, how the operation will kick off also.
Yes, thank you so much. Once again, we are launching the Liberian Renaissance plan in the Atlanta, Georgia area on Sunday, December 17th, 2023, 1 p.m. It's going to be at the new Black Wall Street Mall in Stonecrest, right across the street from the Stonecrest Mall off of Route 20. We are doing this. We invite especially our Liberians in the Atlanta area. So if you're watching this and you're not in Atlanta, but you have a family member, a friend, and this thing here, you think that they would like it or you liked it, make that call to them and let them know that there's something going on December 17th that they need to go in there and experience it for themselves there. So yeah, that's Sunday, December 17th, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. They're gonna there's gonna be performances, there's gonna be live demonstrations of the technology, there's gonna be history, it's gonna be a lot of fun, and interest is free to the public. There will be opportunity to contribute to some projects while you're there. So y'all come and enjoy it. And we let y'all know too that it's a healing process too. We're doing this to also heal our people. This Renaissance, we have to make sure that we include the healing and the lessons from the past as we have this Renaissance.
And Putu, what are the activities that will be done during the event?
So there will be a tour of the new Black Wall Street Mall. It's actually for the, I don't know if you know about the Black Wall Street, the original Black Wall Street from in the 1920s, which was a city of prominent Black people, wealthy Black people. They had a town that was actually bombed by the U.S. government. in that time. It was destroyed. So with this new Black Wall Street, it's actually a mall with over almost 100 businesses comprised together in a huge building. It's a mall. So there will be a tour, and you get a historical lesson of the original Black Wall Street and the new Black Wall Street. There will be presentations. There will be some videos, contents of what we've been doing, over the years leading up to the point, and there will be like a live demonstration. Ken might have one of his gadgets and concoctions. You see, he has his whole workshop over there. He can't bring the whole workshop to Atlanta, but he might have a few of his tools there. So prepare to be enlightened and be a part of something real spectacular.
And again, as a participant in the event happening in Atlanta, to showcase what the Liberian Renaissance project is about, and there will be people attending. What are the things that you're going to be telling them? What are the things you're going to be showing them for them to build that interest and maybe decide to be part of the Renaissance?
So we'll give an overview, or I'll give an overview over the different technologies that are available, some of the projects that we've been working on. And like Kudu said, I think that to be able to see things for yourself makes a difference. So I will bring some products with me that can actually showcase what's possible through these technologies, whether it's the vertical farming, or whether it's introducing means by which you can harvest clean water. Right? If you're familiar with what's called an atmospheric water generator, we'll have a small device that will show you how you can even create water by pulling the moisture from the atmosphere. So there'll be some interesting things that we'll have to show the people that they probably find quite interesting.
Well, gentlemen, this is how we will come to the end of this edition of Focus on Liberia program that was intended to discuss with the Liberian Renaissance Project. And so, folks, if you don't know, the Liberian Renaissance Project, or been planned, is being put together by the network of individuals, groups, and businesses who seek to participate in Liberia's growth and development by tapping into their skills and creativity in the arts, science, technology. So these are business individuals. These are groups, who want to make Liberia to experience a renaissance by carrying skills, employable skills, and use those skills to provide jobs opportunities for those who just want to work and those who want to be business owners. I think this is a brilliant idea that should be welcomed by every Liberian. And so they will be in Atlanta, and you heard put to there, giving to you the address. And if you don't remember that, reach out to us here at Focus on Liberia. We'll provide that information to you. If Liberia must experience a renaissance, it must start with Liberians and all Africans, so that that first Black nation can get the renaissance that it should have had many years ago, but it's not late yet. Sometimes they say better late than never, right? Liberia must make it happen. And so, folks, thank you for watching. We will close our broadcast, as always, with our song that says, "We are all Liberians." Thank you, gentlemen, for coming. Keep on what you're doing. If you need to come back, do not hesitate to reach out to us. The information got to be out there repeatedly so that people can get the message and jump on board so we can transform Liberia. Thank you for coming, gentlemen. Bye-bye.
We are Liberian. Liberia is our home. Liberian people. Liberia.